What would you say is the problem that you're trying to solve?
Well, many of us have felt or have been impacted negatively by compliance failure, whether it is a breach of our own personal data, financial or healthcare. Super frustrating. Your data's out there. It's become too common these days. I'm building a compliance management platform that will that's AI enabled that will help mitigate this risk and simplify how companies manage compliance.
Nice. I love that. Can I get some photos of you right here?
Sure.
What's been the most fun part of building this so far?
The level of creativity drawing from all this experience that I've had for years, also learning something really new. AI is not entirely new, but there's always something changing about it. It keeps morphing into something different, right? And to me, I love a learning mindset, and this enables me to do so, to have this constant learning.
Nice. I love that. Yeah. It's so amazing being an entrepreneur and being able to learn all the time. It's one of the best parts, I feel like. Can I get some photos of you right here? What would you say to a founder who's trying to get into the world of AI?
First of all, research, understand AI. There's lots of free resources out there online. There's Google, there's Stanford. Go look at those resources, and also go to seminars. There's lots of events on a weekly basis, especially here in San Francisco Bay Area. Take advantage of them. They're open to folks usually, and also seek out people who are building in AI. They're the ones who are thinking through the solutions, passionate about solving problems. So you can learn a lot from them and what they're striving for using this technology.
What would you just say to someone who's nervous to get into the world of AI? Who's afraid of it?
Who's afraid of it? Naturally, sometimes when I hear someone's afraid of AI, it's because they don't know as much about it. When you don't know about something, natural reaction is to recoil, right? And so I think the same thing about going out there, understanding and learning it, seeing what it can enable. It can solve a lot of problems very quickly, and we're already seeing advancements in health and medicine. And I'm trying to do the same with compliance. So think about it as an enabler for us to solve problems faster and more elegantly.
I love that. Let me get some photos of you right here. What's something that you've learned about yourself while building your company?
That I can evolve and adapt as situations arise. And, you know, even with the tenure I've had in my career, you could still learn a lot more. Like, things are still evolving, and that gets me excited because it's like, okay, you know, you've spent so many years in your career already, and maybe you've learned all you can, but I don't think so. Not with AI. I'm learning a lot more. It's exciting and it's fun, and it's the passion we have as myself and my co-founders in building a solution that we believe will make the world a better place.
Yeah, that's beautiful. There's a lot of opportunity to learn, especially now with this new technology.
Yes.
Yeah, let me get some photos right over here. What advice would you give to your younger self before starting building a business?
Explore, take some risks, learn as much as you can. Sometimes, and we learned this in our accelerator program. Pivot when you figure out that the path you're on may need to change. So it's okay, that mentality of trying things out and eventually pivoting to what makes better sense for you.
I love that. Let me get a photo of you right here. So you mentioned pivoting. What were some of the biggest pivots you've made that were the best for your business?
Actually, before I even thought about doing a compliance play with I was thinking about an entirely different subject area that belonged to somebody I know. And I was like listening to how frustrated this person was and trying to solve this problem. And I realized, like, I am so dependent on understanding exactly what it is, their mindset, totally different subject area and industry. But what I learned is you really got to do what you know the best. And I like kind of did some internal soul searching and figured out that you've got to fix compliance. This is what you've been doing your entire career almost. So that's the big change.
Yeah, that's great advice. Actually sticking to something that you're confident in and you know well enough
Yes.
to make a difference.
Yeah, in fact, the discussions lately has been around, what's your moat, right? They use that term in AI, and it's like, really, your moat is your domain expertise in the subject area that you're most familiar with. You know how to solve that problem. You know why you need to solve the problem, and you know how the people who are trying to solve them, how they feel about trying to solve that problem. The passion from within.
Nice. I love that. That's such great advice. Let me get some photos of you right here. What's been the biggest challenge you had to overcome being a founder?
The biggest challenge is just staying focused on what's important because there's so much that you have to do, especially if you're the lead founder, and your attention is split in many ways. But you have to constantly think about what's important to focus on, what can you delegate or hand off to other people on the team, and making sure that you're always constantly checking yourself, like, am I doing what I need to do right now that's going to move the business further?
Yeah, it is. Focus is very challenging for sure.
It is.
How do you learn to be better at that? Do you have any strategies that you use?
Yeah, I'm actually a very very much a list note taker, or I draw a list, and I think about okay, if I didn't get to this item, it's going to move to tomorrow. But I think in terms of focus, it's just the basic thing around constantly thinking about qualifying a task or an activity. Is it urgent? Is it necessary to do right now? Can it be delayed? How important is this to the grand scheme of things? Are you the only person that can do this work because of your skill set or who you are? So that's the thing that you kind of have to constantly be context aware of what you're trying to do.
Yeah, that's a really important skill to build. Knowing what you can do yourself, what's important for you to do versus what you need to delegate.
Yes.
And free up your time for. Yeah. Nice. Let me get some photos of you right over here. What would you say to a founder who's feeling overwhelmed about compliance?
Understandably, if it's not the subject matter area that you're most familiar with, it can feel overwhelming. There's a lot of information to digest, right? I'd say seek out experts. And the one thing is there's solutions out there. There's solutions to help solve for and manage compliance, including what we're building with Compliagence. And but there's resources out there to help you, and so that it's not too overwhelming. There's experts and people and solutions, and we'd love to help, especially with what we're building.
Nice. I love that. Yeah, let me get some photos of you right over here. Why do corporations need this?
Corporations need this because there's volumes of regulations coming out, and it's not just the volume, but the complexity, right? For example, data privacy laws vary from state to state. There are major acts and regulations coming out around the use of AI. So companies need this to get a handle on making sure they're compliant and not be hit with a penalty or a reputational hit as well, because that involves gaining and maintaining trust from their customers and their partners.
Yeah. What about why now?
Why now is because there's advancements in technology, AI, that can help companies or help us build elegant solutions at a faster pace.
Nice. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's all happening right now, and it's the time to act on it for sure. Yeah, let me get some photos of you right over here. What would you say is your deeper why?
At the end of the day, trust matters in forming strong relationships, whether that's business to business, person to person, and compliance facilitates that trust. And that's what's important to me, to stay focused on compliance.
Nice. I love that. Let me get some last photos of you right here, and then I think we're good.